Шо? У нас тут пошла жара. Так. Во, вот сейчас меня вроде должно быть лучше слышно. Отлично. Так, фоновый звук это у меня. Так, сейчас. Так, ну-ка. Раз, два, три, раз, два, три. Во, вот сейчас вроде микрофон получше. Так. Ага. Это я звук отключил. Все понял. Возвращаем звук. Ага, все отлично. Так, ну что, сейчас 5 минуточек и начинаем. Все, я тут. Так. Ну чё, начнем новую игру. Я ее когда-то уже 2 года назад начинал проходить. И я забыл все. Поэтому я думаю новую игру. Угу. Мыслителями идем, спортсмен или своего создать. Ну-ка. Так. Давайте-ка, наверное, своего создадим. Я хочу своего создать. Так, сколько мы можем... это он нам уже раскидал способности. Моторика. Ваше восприятие, реакция. Ага, ваша мускулатура. Насколько я эмоционально восприимчив и мыслительные способности. Блять, ну... А если случайно сделать? Так, ну это сбалансированный. Угу. Блин, мне вот это вот нравится. Тут есть интеллект и реакция. Но эмоционально я абсолютно не восприимчив. Так. Нет, нет. Так, интеллект на 5, психика на 4, физиология вообще отсутствует просто полностью. Угу. Так. Не, давай вот так вот, 4, 4, 2, 2. Чтобы уж совсем... Бля, а давайте, короче, ебанем психосе просто. Короче, мощного... Мощного такого, короче, психопата себе сделаем. Это, я думаю, будет весело. Так, теперь особенности. Особенности. Так, тут логика. Энциклопедия. Угу. Концептуализация, драма. Так, это от пси... Так, ага. Мне имеет смысл вот эти вот брать какие-то. Угу. Ну-ка, визуализация. Восстанавливайте события на месте преступления, заставьте закон физики работать на вас. Станьте ценителем творчества. Развейте чуткость и искусство. Переиграйте всех, врите, но не дайте обмануть себя. Драма. Бля. Так, это интересно, это интересно. Так, установить индивидуальный навык. А сколько я их всего могу сделать? Всего 4. Подожди. Нет, всего 1. Это не то. Блин, а сколько я их поставить-то могу? Мгм. Так, ну как будто логику имеет смысл взять. А, и я больше ничего сделать не могу. Так. Подожди. Ай. Так, держите удар, не дайте себя прикончить. Играйте мышцами, наслаждайтесь своим здоровьем. Электрохимия — это для наркоманов, это я помню. Почувствуйте дрожь, настройтесь на городскую волну. Запугивайте людей. Давайте попробуем. Попробуем вот так вот. Не знаю, ёбнутый абсолютно билд. Ну и хер с ним. Демоны ярости живут в зеркалах. Они здесь как дома. Даже в самой прозрачной воде можно утонуть, если она глубока. Начать.
There is nothing. Only warm primordial blackness. Your conscious ferments in it. No larger than a single grain of malt. You don't have to do anything anymore.
Так, маленький нюанс, и я, наверное, все это читать вслух не буду, потому что я думаю, что я заебусь очень быстро. И нету смысла сейчас начинать читать, а потом переставать читать. И я скорее буду пытаться подводить какие-то общие итоги того, что, как я это понимаю, то, что будет вообще написано, в принципе. Тут в этой игре очень много читать нужно. Вот, поэтому я, наверное, буду просто общие какие-то мысли излагать.
Ever. Never, ever.
Просто не существовать дальше.
Never, ever, ever, baby. An inordinate amount of time passes. It is utterly void of struggle. No ex-wives are contained within it. An awareness creeps up on you. A mass lies hidden in your dead angle, soaking in some lurid acidic sauce. It's bloated and shameful. A ball of meat surrounding you. This is a terrible line of questioning. Ex-love, ex-tenderness. It is foolish of you to resurface to the loss. Not after all the damage you've suffered to get here. Some of it irreversible. Stay. Sail with me through the abyss of pelagic zone. Do you really?
Вот тут перевод нормально.
You wouldn't like it if I told you what was back there. Why'd you think you had to bludgeon yourself into oblivion? Or did you not sense yourself marinating? Poured so much on yourself, got a bit carried away.
Я идиот, отважный и слабоумный.
Somewhere in the sore, bloated man-meat around you. Like a fly to the ointment, your conscience sticks to it. The limbed and headed machine of pain and undignified suffering is firing up again. It wants to walk the desert, hurting, longing, dancing to disco music. The stench of liquor rises from your mouth, and with it, an ungodly headache. A fiery streak penetrates your skull, trying to force your eyes open.
Somehow, you know what it is. A caprice to name a motor carriage.
Мотокарета купить. Ага. Опа. 1 января. Доброе утро. Мама мия, помполомия. Это молодой человек, конечно. Так, ПКМ это осмотреться. ЛКМ это двигаться. Так, штанишки. Взять. Пиджак. Взять.
You
Что
hear
это
a
такое?
jingle.
Динь-динь.
Keys are
В
clinking
кармане
in the
твоих
pocket of your
клещей
flare-cut pants.
звенят ключи.
It says, whirling in
На
rags,
алюминиевом
with the
брелке написано
aluminium
«Танцы
key
в
ring.
тряпье». На
There is
конце
a
всего
single
один
key on the
ключ с
ring.
цифрой 1.
The number 1
Должен
is etched.
подойти. Ага. Так, ну-ка. ВСД у нас двигаться. Ага. Так, тап. Подсвечивать. Тап. Подсвечивать. А, ну, галстук.
This fan has 2 chain pull
Вентилятор
switches.
с два
One
выключателя
ends in a
цепочки. На
tiny
конце
fan,
одной
the
изображен
other
еще
in
один
a light
крошечный
bulb.
вентилятор, на другой
A
лампочка.
truly horrific necktie has somehow
К
attached
одной из
itself to
лопастей
one of the
прилепился
blades.
воистину кошмарный галстук. Эквилибристика. 28% шанс схватить галстук. Потянуть за вентилятор, потянуть за лампочку. Ну, мы же не
The
дураки.
blades come squeaking to a halt.
Лопасти со скрипом
It should be easier
останавливаются.
to
Теперь
reach the
достать
tie
галстук
now.
будет проще. Эквилибристика.
You swoop up and
Ура!
touch the tie.
Мы забрали
Snap.
галстук.
It's released from the blade. What you have in your hand is a truly hideous necktie with 4 or 5 different patterns. The knot reminds you of a noose.
Висельный узел на галстуке. Нормально.
A terrible mistake. Turn the
Чудовищная
lights off
ошибка.
immediately. You can practically feel the photo. It's just a little hangover-induced photosensitivity. Don't overreact.
Не психуй. О, болевой порог сработал, прокнул. А это потому, что у нас физики до хера. Жги
Little
кто на
black
новенького.
spots dance on your
На
retinas.
сетчатке пляшут
It's
черные
almost
точки.
pleasurable.
Это почти приятно. Уйти. Нормально. Мы со светом побудем. Так. Большая бутылка красного командора. Совершенно пустая. Так. Похоже, кто-то вырвал пленку, пока играла песня. Катушечный магнитофон все еще включен, но пленки в нем нет. Так. А это что такое? Опа. Туфля number one. Так, как же мы медленно двигаемся.
The window stands broken
Окно
in its
разбито,
frame.
в него задувает холодный
Cold
ветер.
wind blows in.
Оценить урон.
The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the
Удар
inside.
был изнутри.
A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent. More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact.
Так,
It
оценить
is
размер
too
дыры.
large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy. The single green shoe you found fits the hole almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations. You smashed the window with your own shoe. Now you only have one. If you're lucky, you could still find the other one on the balcony outside. The door to it should be outside your room.
Угу. Короче, ботинок у нас вылетел наружу. Мы кинули ботинком. Стоит пойти забрать ботинок. Не нужен он мне. Мне вообще никто не нужен. Ладно,
Cool
стоит пойти.
wind gushes
Новое
in.
задание — найти
Your
ботинок.
toes curl up from the cold.
Хорошо. Ладно, погнали. Поболтаем с своим отражением. Так, что тут? Ванна заполнена бутылками из-под вина, пива и ликеров. Ну, кстати, не нарисовали. О, рубашка. Ну чё, посмотримся в зеркало.
A mirror hangs above a bent and broken sink. In a fierce discharge of masculine energy, someone has ripped half the faucet off. Hot water sprays from the base and steam covers the mirror. You cannot see yourself, just the outline of a man. Suddenly, you realize you have no memory of the face that awaits you there, underneath the soft vapor.
Так, ну-ка
As you
построим зеркало.
slowly reach your hand. Abort. You clearly have not thought this through. You won't like what you see there, and you will never unbecome it.
Ага, мы не хотим видеть то, что мы превратились. Так, делать себе больно. Может, лучше его сперва ощупать, убедиться, что все
Yeah,
нормально. Ну-ка.
there is definitely something wrong with it.
А что там
Where to
нормального?
even begin? There is the bloatedness, then the swollenness. It's like there's an upholstery of alcohol underneath your skin. It's not. It's swollen and snail-like, wriggling between your fingers. Bet you are. Your nose feels like a small balloon in the middle of your face. It hurts when you honk it. It doesn't appear to be a particularly tiny nose either. Not with all the drinks it's absorbed for you.
А вот теперь протереть
Behold.
зеркало. Опа. Ну и нормально. Красивый молодой человек. Что такое? Я
You
надеюсь, я
have
психический
no
урон сейчас не
idea
получу. У меня
who this
всего
thing
одно
is,
психическое
do
здоровье.
you? It
Суперзвезда,
appears you're
конечно.
also dead. There's clearly rigor mortis on your face. Oh wait, is that an expression? Are you trying to make an expression with that face? Why?
Так, я
Please
суперзвезда,
stop.
конечно же.
It's horrible. You're scaring yourself.
Не
You
убирать
can't,
гримасы.
can you? It's like it's not even voluntary anymore. You have worn that grin into your face. And what does it even mean? What is the emotion you're trying to convey?
Боюсь, она для дам. Я как бы даю понять, что заслуживаю сочувствия, по-моему, в некотором роде успешно, если зритель склонен сочувствовать унылым и вышедшим в тираж. Есть в этом свое обаяние. Это гримаса боли. Ну,
You
суперзвездная,
should check
конечно же.
yourself for a pulse, superstar. From here, it looks like a cadaverous spasm. You find no sign of life on your swollen neck. However, putting your hand on your chest reveals an irregular heartbeat. You appear to be alive. For now.
Так, энциклопедия. Нырнуть в пучины разума в поисках источника гримасы, электрохимия, попытаться остановить процесс. Пока ставить зеркало в покое. Бля, давай попробуем.
Like the rest of you, it
Не
comes from a
получилось.
bad place somewhere in the past.
Ну,
That's
3%
all
мы
you
вряд ли
know.
рольнем.
It's too late.
3% мы вряд ли рольнем. Так, что у меня тут есть? Мгм. Так, а тут у меня что? Найти ботинок. Ладно. Погнали к двери. Опа. Добрый день. Это у нас что такое? На столе что-то есть. Груша. Груша, это нам надо. Так. За ботинком, это, так понимаю, нам сюда. Так. О, господи. От запаха моря становится дурно. Зато мы теперь двигаемся по-человечески. Так. Тебя омывает порыв солнечного, соляного ветра, блядь. Солнечного.
There they both
Ура!
are.
Две
Two
одинаковые
identical
туфли, отменно
shoes,
зеленые и
both
бесстыжие,
copiously green
змеинокожие.
and
Они встретились снова у
indiscriminately
тебя на ногах,
snake like two baby
как близнецы
crocodiles.
крокодильчики. Как
Good,
сидят.
they're
Славно,
balanced.
удобно, гармонично.
Comfy.
По правде сказать,
Feels
они,
like the
похоже,
only good
единственное,
thing
что у
about
тебя
you
сейчас
right
есть
now.
хорошего. Ну и отлично. Немножко приподняли себе настроение. Так, давай обратно. Это у
Hello,
нас что? В
officer.
календаре. Открыто март 51 года. Привет, начальник. Здравствуйте, мадам.
The young woman raises a cigarette to her
Вам
lips.
сигарету, начальник, вы на меня работаете. Отвернуть распухшее лицо от ее красоты и просто пройти мимо.
No.
Вопрос явно ее смутил.
Because you're a police officer, sir.
Да, я полицейский еще какой. Зарубите себе на носу. Да, так и
Okay,
есть.
cool.
Хорошо,
I won't.
зарублю. Не прыгайте, я просто примерялся к роли.
First, I have to ask, are you okay, sir? You look like you're about to throw up. Can I bring you something?
She's right. Something wants to come out through your mouth,
это что-то
but you can
удерживаешь.
keep it down
Ведь ты
because your body does not
властелин
control
своего
you.
тела, а не наоборот. Жить буду, отвечай на вопрос. Сейчас в состоянии сформулировать эту мысль уже чудо, но я выживу. Откуда вы знаете, что я полицейский?
You've been here for
Вы здесь
3
пока четвертый
days.
день по полицейскому вопросу.
Unofficial
С ваших
police
слов.
business.
По
Couldn't
какому
say.
вопросу?
In
Понятия не
truth,
имею, если
so
честно,
far,
пока что вы в основном
mostly drinking.
посвящали себя пьянству.
You have no doubt about the drinking,
В пьянстве
but
сомнений
do you
нет.
strike yourself as
Но
a
похоже ли на
tight-lipped
того,
drunk?
кто будет пить
She
тихо?
must have heard
Наверняка она
something.
что-нибудь слышала. Так, ну короче, я понял. У меня всякие вот эти вот сложные психические моменты, проверки мне пройти не удастся. Значит, получается, вообще вот такое. Мы приехали, и последние 4 дня здесь люто нажирались. И теперь даже не помним, что мы полицейские. Ну ладно. Так, мозги мне, положим, отшибло. Не помню никто я, нигде я, ни что такое. Куприкинемо. Ни на что похож ее звук. Да, вот
She
это вот.
nods.
Она кивает.
There's a mercenary out back. He's been hanged. The body has been there for a week now. The locals probably got tired of it and called the cops.
Там труп висит в петле.
I didn't mean to overwhelm you with information. You seem a bit lost, officer. I can see that.
Вижу.
Could it be because of the drinking?
Так.
Don't be so harsh on yourself. They let almost anyone be a police officer.
Просто обосрала. Продемонстрировать гримасу, пусть знает, что ты хочешь физически. Ну-ка, прокнет.
The words have
Слава
already
богу.
left your mouth.
Слово не воробей. И я хочу с вами перечпокнуться.
What was that? That's not even how words are used. What did you say? Come on, say it again. No, you see, that's not what you said. You said,
На мое
come
удовольствие
on,
слушать
man,
это
pretty
отлично.
please. One more time. Goddamn right you did. You crazy asshole, you. What kind of cop are you?
Я коп апокалипсиса. Уже выяснили, я коп суперзвезда. Простите, не знаю, почему я так сказал. Вы красивая, к сожалению, мне жаль. Я жалкий коп. Я вообще не уверен, что я коп. Я не помню за собой такого. Может, я и правда наврал. Я коп суперзвезда, мы
Okay,
же уже
that's
решили.
cool. Or if I can just maybe ask you to elaborate on that superstardom a tiny bit. I have certainly been entertained. Thank you. Whatever you are, you should stick to it. Otherwise,
А то и не договорила.
it's gonna suck for you later when you have to interrogate me. And for the record, no, I didn't do it.
Так, для протокола. Похоже, она оставила пепельнице отличный длинный окурок, еще дымится.
You should pick that fat,
Вот
juicy
этот
cigarette
маленький
butt
сочный
from the
окурок
tray.
выкурю прямо
Light it up
сейчас.
and smoke the living shit out of it.
Я что,
Who
курильщик?
knows
А кто
what
тебя
you
знает?
are? A monster, a
Чудовище,
murderer,
убийца.
the gnome of Jeroma? You feel like a smoker, especially when you look at that juicy, succulent, seductive cigarette stub, still smoldering. How very astute of you. This renders it ineffectual. You should look for a whole cigarette, or better yet, an entire pack. Strike that. A carton. Make sure they're all healthy
Большой
and
энтузиазм.
able-bodied. Then smoke them all.
Это станет моим главным приоритетом.
They'll make you stronger and better. You're too old to be cool now. But find cigarettes, smoke them, blam. Instantly a cool renegade man. A mystical red. Plus, smoking them gives massive bonuses.
Отлично. У нас есть новое задание. Это найти сигареты. Отлично. Буду просто отыгрывать полноценного такого просто ублюдка. Максимального. Так, я могу
The
с ней
door
поговорить?
is closed. There is
Постучать.
no answer.
Ответа.
You hear the shower being turned on. Still no answer. Still nothing. You should punch a fucking hole in
Да
it.
разъеби ты, шлюха ебаная. Подавить желание. Ударить
You
дверь.
slam your fist into the vinyl. It does not produce a hole. The door sits sturdily in the frame, and your fist hurts. This was all a very good, normal thing to do.
Ты совершил хороший, совершенно адекватный поступок.
Not to
Спасибо,
mention,
дверь.
great exercise.
Так, ладно, нам туда попасть не удастся пока что, я так понимаю. Я, короче, примерно что-то помню. Выпущенное выходное издание сирийской газеты Тромп Le Monde. Вот, но я надеюсь, что мы это увидим. Так, сейчас момент. Извиняюсь. Ага. Все, трансляция идет. Так. Погнали вниз. Что такое? Летний ход закрыт на зиму. Ну да, он же летний. Что такое?
You should totally sing karaoke here, the first chance you get. Your emotions need to be expressed. People need to know your vast, oceanic soul.
Точный кубометраж
Of
моей души
course,
не ясен.
at this point, precise measurements of your soul can only be performed from the outside, through a PA system, by other people, whether they like it or not. Ram it up their ears, says your adrenaline gland. Violently express yourself. Who is mistakenly identified as a cop for his prominent jawline? Yes, sounds likely. You should probably go on stage and pose for a moment when you're done with this thought. See if it works. You have not yet stumbled on the right lamentation, but it's out there. It'll come to you. You will wreak havoc with it. Don't worry. Serves them right. Wipe that smirk off their face with your sad, tragic song. Who's laughing now? You have to find something tragic to sing first, though.
A man in his late 20s stands behind the counter,
Гард.
inspecting a stuffed seabird. As you approach, he gives you a sideways glance, then looks down again. Everything is cool between you and this guy. He's a big fan. Make some small talk. A competent work of taxidermy. The white and brown seabird lies among piles of coasters and drying mugs. One of its wings broken. Looks like the bird was ripped off the shield that was used to mount it, most likely on a wall. This is the Great Skua. The seabird is the symbol for the discovery of the Insulindian Isola, the part of the world you are in right now.
Look, your buddy is over there. Why don't you go and talk to him, okay?
He pretends not to hear you, concentrating on the bird instead.
No, I'm not the bartender. I'm the cafeteria manager. That period of my life is over. Not everyone who stands behind a counter is a bartender, okay? I have 3 cafeterias to manage. 3. Sylvie tends the bar here, not me. I'm only... She just... you know...
His eyes dart from left to right. This man isn't lying, but he...
So now you're a cop. Oh, forget it.
Ну ладно, пока мы, наверное, больше не раскроем. Я пойти не могу.
Hello, sweetie. You shouldn't keep your colleague waiting.
Опаньки. Добрый вечер.
Вечер добрый.
Да.
Алло.
Алло, я тут.
Это я к самому популярному стримеру попал?
Да, а ты на стриме сейчас находишься?
Только что был.
Блин, а у меня даже не показалось, ну куда я посмотрю. А, реально, его по статистике залетело.
Да, мы
Хоть эта
вот
хуйня
тут...
с задержками работает.
Вопрос, а популярный стример попозже пойдет играть?
Да, популярный стример попозже пойдет играть. Попозже это примерно
Замечательно.
через сколько?
Через минут 40-50.
Минут 40-50, я тебя понял. Да, звони, набирай.
Заебись. Все, удачного стрима.
Ага, спасибо, сейчас донаты налетят, я вообще это...
Да, мы... Автограф, пожалуйста, можно? Мы с семьей, у меня жена очень вас любит.
Да, 50 тысяч.
50 тысяч, хорошо. Сейчас оформим. Ладно, давай, я позвоню.
Давай, жду. Так.
The man does not mind. You probably need them more than he does.
Так, ну что, пробуем его растолкать.
You gently shake his shoulder, but nothing happens. This man could probably sleep.
Понял. Ну что, Ким, добрый
A
вечер.
bespectacled man in an orange bomber jacket is tapping his foot on the floor. Looks like he's... As you approach, he narrows his eyes and extends his hand in...
Hello, I'm Kim Kitsuragi, Lieutenant, Precinct 57. You must be from the 41st.
You realize he's waiting for your name. Concentration makes you squint your eyes. Your name should be deep gold and orange, like a forest fire looming on the horizon, but mixed with the stench of liquor rising from your breath. You're 2 steps closer to it, but there are still many to go.
Okay then. It looks like we had a little scheduling error on Sunday. Saturday too, actually. Have you had...
What he means is, he has been trying to meet up with you for 2 days, but you have been otherwise occupied.
If you don't mind, we should talk to him again. Ask him for a rundown of the area, now that I'm here as well. I understand it also wouldn't hurt to assure him the police are finally here. In full force, I mean. Have you mapped out the initial interviews? At the 57th, we like to prepare an initial list of persons of interest, and then just skim the surface. Prepare the field, get to know the players. You don't do that? Maybe it's not an inter-district practice. Right. And the interviews? Good. But even if you haven't, we'll have time for that after we take a look at the coroner's case. Have you removed the dead body from the tree? Does that mean the body is no longer in the tree? Sure. But did you take it down from... So, the body is still where it has been hanging for 7 days straight. We should go there as soon...
What a shame. Get to it now. Rip that body down from the tree.
Talk to the manager. Then we go out back and take the body down. I was sent here to meet a detective from Precinct 41. You have the insignia of the Citizens Militia on your sleeve and on your back. I suppose you could be impersonating him. You could have gotten the insignia from the black market or forged it. But for now, I'm going to set those possibilities aside. I'm not from the Inspector.
Inspectorate General means internal affairs. What he's saying is he's not from the rat squad and isn't supposed to suspect such things.
Yes, but I'm not them. I'm from criminal investigation. Yes. They are not just white rectangles. They bear a halogen watermark with the letters RCM and a pattern resembling the street grid of Revachol West. I would ask you to step into the headlights of my motor carriage, but again, it's none of my concern. I just need you to do your job. You mean you don't have a badge? Losing your identification card is a serious matter. My vehicle has a shortwave. You can use it to report your badge missing. I would advise you to locate it as quickly as possible. But getting the body down should still take precedence. I can see you drank last night and the night before, and that you are still drunk now. But I have seen officers go through worse. Much worse. If you need something for your headache, there is a general store nearby. But as I said, the dead body should be our number.
A painkiller would be good about now. This thing is pulsating with discomfort. The best cure for a headache is, of course, morphine. They won't have that. So cigarettes will have to do.
We all feel that way sometimes. There is no such thing as a police officer, I'm afraid. What remains is that there is a dead body in the tree. Someone has to figure out who put it there. If we don't, no one.
And then, soon after, dead bodies would be...
But first, we have to take it down. After it's been up in a tree for that long, any kind of ripping is inadvisable. After you, officer.
The man with the...
Mr. Gart, right?
Yes.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41...
Are you kidding me?
Right. Now, I know it took us a while to arrive at the scene. It also took you a while to call us and report the dead body. It was you.
No, I only just got here. It was probably Sylvie who called you. She usually works the bar here.
Do you have her number?
As a matter of fact, I do.
You said you just got here. From where? Are you a...
What, of Martinez? No, I live in Jamrock. I only sometimes come here to keep an eye on the place. This is just one of the many...
But you still know your way around, yes? In case we need...
Yes, I know where some things are, but as I said, I don't live here. I just used to work here.
I didn't imply that. Detective.
He probably means this is where you step in and ask your questions.
Кто я? Прикинуться дурачком. Кто я? Так,
His
вопрос.
face expresses profound doubt in your having this.
Так,
Haven't you
почему
asked me that already? What is it with you and this woman? She has nothing to do with this. Okay, you got me. She went away because of the dead body out back. And because I asked for her number. That's why Sylvie went away. I hope you appreciate that.
Потому что... он попытался к ней подкатить.
Thank you.
I asked an employee out. She didn't want to come, but felt obliged to. It was a bad idea. Now, what is so goddamn fascinating about that for you? It's got nothing to do with the lynching. Good for you. Was there something else? I'd like to get back to what I was doing. I don't know who killed him. I'm not the police. That's your job. What are you, crazy? Of course I...
Suddenly you tense up. Blood is being pushed to your muscles. You should hound him on this. Hound him.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I don't appreciate this. What is this? Do I have to answer him? Is this mandatory?
The lieutenant stands motionless, his expression unreadable.
What are you, an idiot? I told you I haven't killed anyone.
He ignores you. More. Press on. Push.
Fuck you, man.
That's enough.
Thank you ever so much.
Чисто надавили.
Behind this building, there's a courtyard. That's easy. See that door there? First you exit through that. Then to your right, you...
Let's go.
Not so fast. You owe me 130 real. Oh, you don't owe me shit. Well, officer, you're right. You don't owe me shit. You owe...
We do not need to assert ourselves here. We only need instructions from him. This is the proprietor, remember? But you see, he didn't.
You know, I get this all the time. Some hobo comes in here or some backpacking arsehole off the boat. The next day, when they can't make their fees, they get aggressive. I just never thought I'd be in this shit with a cop. Please, just give me the money.
Ты арестован.
You can't arrest me. I haven't done anything.
Бля, мне не хватит.
The words leave your mouth as if...
Oh, so apparently I'm a bitch now. Okay, I'll be the bitch, and you'll be the broke cop who owes me money. And no one...
Sir, leash in your tongue. Officer, you need to contact your station. Ask your people for assistance with the money you owe this place. There is a shortwave radio in my car. When you get...
I'm sorry, but I can't let him stay here if he doesn't pay. He's 3 days on the slip. If he doesn't have the money by tonight, he'll have to work this from home. Good luck.
By the way, where is home? The address is coming up blank, and this place sure isn't it. But you've been at this hostel cafeteria for only 3 nights. Where were you before? You had to be somewhere. You don't really know, do you? A vague, blackened image doesn't sound like somewhere you can stay if you run out of money. Entertain the thought when you get the time. Maybe being a hobo and...
Так. Ну-ка. Буду бомжекопом. Мгм. Нахер полицию.
The RCM in Martinez. What can I help you with?
Ну-ка, погоди. Бля, я, короче, вспомнил. Я вспомнил все, что, короче, я до этого проходил. Я сейчас посмотрел на эту девчонку, которая на улице сидит, и вспомнил кучу этих диалогов, которые я проходил. Короче, не хочу по новой это все перепроходить. Поэтому я загружусь с того сохранения, которое у меня было до этого последнее. Вот оно. И буду, короче, на нем играть. Так, что у меня тут левая рука? Ебать, у меня здесь сабля. Охуеть. Так. Я, короче, такой серьезный молодой чебурек.
Yes? What do you want to know? You mean like a brief? Do you want me to... 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute.
Между местными докерами и логистической компанией Wild Pines.
They, Klassen, as we've come to suspect, didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's age nor... There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that. Just to be clear, we are police officers. It's our job to find the killer. That's the case. Uncover and... Good.
Всё. Так, просто посмотрим список наших заданий. Так, задание. Узнайте всю правду о реальности. Купите треники у Куна. Так, спросите Куна. Последняя ловушка оказалась пустой. Возвращайтесь в станцию к Мореллу, чтобы сообщить эту новость. Так, решите загадку Эйкомона. Так. Просто тут я уже слишком много прошел и не хочу двигаться дальше. Для тех, кто не играл, давайте я вкратце расскажу, что произошло. Значит так, у нас есть несколько локаций. Так. Ага. Так, все, ладно, я вроде более-менее понял. В общем, мы проснулись бухие, узнали, что мы копы. Есть труп повешенный. В итоге узнали, что тут происходит. Тут есть компания, в которой сидит лютый капиталюга, у которой идут лютые рамсы с местными рабочими. Вот. Под местными рабочими тоже стоит кто-то. То есть там, я не помню точно кто, но там стоит тоже какой-то заговор местный. Вот. И есть какая-то женщина, которая нас знала. Сейчас будем все это пытаться вспомнить. Спящий портовый рабочий. Ебать.
The note is written with a
Ага. Все, я понял.
The sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with waves and fishermen? We need to be out there with them, fishing, making a living. So I asked them to accommodate me. But until that happens, I can try to assist you the best I can. So, what will it be, officer?
Так, я у него уже все спрашивал.
Our tenant, the policeman.
Так, окей.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone.
Пиздец, как я давно в эту игру не заходил. А, я нихуя не помню. Не сначала начинать не хочу. Так, вот это их помню.
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning? How to climb that ladder, you see? I do know that Lomantangs used sticks to climb battlements. There's even a special technique for that. No, I'm just speculating theoretically here. Of course, there's also the method ancient Ilmarans used to get into the huts of their enemies. From an evolutionary point of view, you could see this building as a logical conclusion to the more traditional hut. In this case, I suggest looking into the Zeolite Invisibles class. The word refers to their remarkable ability to traverse any environment in the most efficient way possible. There's this excellent investigative piece of journalism by Yes, I have. There was this one time where I...
Oh no, you've made El Bigo Mistako. He's going to go on forever. Mark my words. All of this somehow ties into the history of Occidental financial markets.
Alternative? I don't even have a mainstream way in, I'm afraid, although... There's a sewage pipe there. Maybe that?
A rusty ladder leads.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground? And you're 180? Okay, but still, the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder, what if you were to do something more astral projection? Be open-minded about this.
Teleportation is not a thing. Oh yes, it could hurt a lot.
He is restraining himself from using a parental tone with you right now. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance. Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear.
Okay, well, that's impressive.
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the
Я
art of
телепортировался
physical
на крышу.
displacement.
Нормально.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away.
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring with a backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding.
Так. Нихуя себе. О, хорошая мысль, кстати. Древние офисные мебели, может, прошло.
Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
The doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help...
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that. Yes, time to investigate these passages. Let's move quietly and not make more sound.
Not running is a great way to do that.
Ага.
Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary? This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of. Outside the window, the day is clear, and as mild as can be in early spring.
It's a great place to hide, certainly. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages. It's a great place to hide, certainly. Indeed. No one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough.
The lieutenant's voice betrays a slight disappointment, which he glosses over by A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. The plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a
Karamazov.
spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait. Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly.
Yes, I can see that. Looks like some communists were hiding out here.
The lieutenant does not seem to share your enthusiasm.
Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted. We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case. Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff. You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
Так, а что он сделает? Идем по следам. А что мне делать вообще? Для самого себя.
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost...
No, what do you mean? I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh. Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
Yes. There won't be time for that once things go down. Matter of fact, I don't think there's time for it now.
If you must.
Okay, why not? Whatever goes down might also affect her. The Union is watching her closely now.
Not closely enough, you suspect. But still, good idea to visit her once more.
You mean Morel? I don't see how cryptozoology and the murder investigation are connected. But
if it gets that tense, the amateur zoologists might not be able to do their job.
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
Так, нам намекают, что обратного пути уже не будет. Ну, погнали.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you...
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse.
Ебать, что происходит?
Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But...
The voice coming through the whirlwind of pain is not malicious. She doesn't want to hurt you, doesn't wish to hurt you. Not according to your ear canals. Wait, no, not even your ear canals. This is going directly into your neural pathways. No, buddy, that's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new... Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
Blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
Ебать, излучатель серости.
Saw my equations? You've been sniffing through my lorry, right? I expected as much. I am a... A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale. Literally crunch the signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear or think you're...
She's been holed up in here for a while with no one to keep her talking, and you just might get an opportunity to break loose.
The Pale? It's the end of the world. I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Way beyond. No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like... Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through. Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops, and of herself merely as prey.
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
Turn this.
God damn it. Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
О.
The gun she's carrying is a two-barreled front loader, not like the murder weapon. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Just keep her talking, and you'll get through this.
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while. So, you found my shack, huh?
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed.
So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find to my back. I was, before I caught you in the Pale Latitude compressor.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit.
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you.
So she says she didn't do it, and she doesn't trust you. Is it you specifically, or the citizens' militia that she distrusts?
Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first. Oh, well, I guess I always knew she was a survivor above all else. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me?
Titus and his boys, man. He told us you were on the coast.
Even now, Kim is a paragon of professionalism. He is trying to make a clean cut of telling her she was betrayed.
Well, fuck. Those guys liked me, I know it. If this is what happens to people whom people like...
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck do the rest of you get by? What shit? I told you I didn't do it. Sounds pretty simple to me.
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon you. Like fuck I did. I was in all the time. I went for a leak, 10-15 minutes max. Look, fuck you, man. I might also have stopped by the... Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain. Don't know it, but also...
Evaluating your competence as a police officer.
The shot couldn't have come from the roof. Or we would have all heard it down...
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
That didn't go super well. You've got to lay something better on her.
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types. You think I was envious of his conquests? Look, pussy's not a problem for me, and definitely not a reason to off someone. Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other...
She didn't hate it, okay?
I'm listening. And? No, they're not practical. Break too often. The gun store. Trigger Happy Jacks. What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
A knocked way 80 front loader. 2-barreled. Not really.
That isn't it.
Yeah, evidence. I considered her a good friend, yeah. Oh, so that's where you were going with this. That's a very sentimental way of putting it. We both had pasts who didn't want to catch up with us, and we enjoyed listening to music together. Why not?
The lieutenant watches her expectantly, occasionally shaking from the pain.
Okay, fine. I was into her. Clausy was into me too for a time, I know it. We even fooled around once. And yeah, after that I thought maybe we could make a go of it. She rejected me with some wishy-washy bullshit about how she was confused because she felt so close to me and valued my friendship so much, and how guilty she felt for leading me on. I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine, I'll take it and move on.
No ill will there. It wasn't a problem for her.
Yeah, one time when we'd both been drinking, I said some heated things about how dangerous her patterns with men were. I was a little worried she'd blow it out of proportion in her head. All the drugs she was doing can make you feel like you're living in a DeLorean tragedy. Yeah, the girl seemed terrified. The merc was beyond caring what happened to his mortal coil. It was a no-brainer. I'm not following your clever insinuations, Detective. If I want to stare at a pretty girl, I can pick one up at a bar. Or, worst case scenario, look at a naughty photo. Who has time to go skulking about the whirling, drilling holes in walls? Nope. Look, she has an effect on people. That je ne sais quoi that makes it impossible not to look at her when she walks into the room, and very difficult to look away. For the same reason that she's everyone's type as an object of desire, she's not... What the hell, man? Yeah, why not?
Her hand slipped from the dial of the compressor for a moment, almost turning it down. Then she put her hand back. Not yet. Not yet.
Бля, какой же недолгий диалог.
Go ahead. It's your
And mine too, he thinks. But keep on. This must be done.
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna. The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia. It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival. Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar. So, Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too. Never trust a musician.
That really comes as a blow to her.
Yeah, that figures. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking?
She's more upset than she lets on.
That's your prerogative. Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left Jamrock, my previous employer, for the union.
She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find this out later.
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun has only been used for self-defense against serious scum. Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum.
There's a sinister note in her voice. Even with the gun and the compressor, she's afraid of you.
Yeah? Where?
More questions before doing anything.
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him. And there
those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying.
Police radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Claudia's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity. She's refusing to adopt the demeanor of a cornered animal, a leader with no one to leave. She still wants to retain some control of the situation.
It's okay. We just want to...
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Klasha comes in, all pale. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her. Oh yeah, super. But I didn't think too much of it at first. I'd seen her party hard before. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea.
She looks shaken. She wasn't surprised to be ratted out, but framed.
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone.
You can see it. Her lips, though still white, don't seem to tremble as much anymore. She moves with focus and deliberation.
She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy Boys.
Glacier knew exactly what she was doing. You can't remain calm under pressure otherwise.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed. As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried this lynching might lead to...
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going... fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
So this is what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop. That strange, distant fear is getting close now. It's a fear of yourself.
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm, your jaw. Very, very bad. This is the end bad. All you feel is pain and weakness. You have to surrender now. We all do. It gets so dark. You don't even see it. Cop suffered. A detective lieutenant of the RCM passed away yesterday. His death, though abrupt, did not come as a surprise to those who knew him. He was the heaviest drinker I'd ever met. Captain Ptolemy Price, the deceased superior officer, commented, "That ain't easy on the ticker." He loved his liquor, sure, said it.
Нихуя себе, блять, мы просто сдохли от сердечного приступа. И это полноценная концовка игры. Прикольно. Окей.
Suddenly, your entire body is
Так,
paralyzed. It's like
I know it can't.
the voice doesn't wish to hurt you. That's an awful decision. Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
I'm used.
Blasted from that pale emitter. That
Saw a pale light signal saw precise at the.
She's
Так,
been
я буду
holed
это
up in here
пролистывать.
for a while.
The pale, the pale. I built it. That's silly. Oh yeah, way beyond. No. Yeah, I stuck my yell.
So she thinks of you as her.
If you
Turn this.
God damn it, fine.
The gun she's kept well. Just keep her talking. And you'll get through this.
I heard you in the passages, and I've been so.
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed.
I was, before I caught you in the pale latitude.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency.
No.
So she says,
Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No. Oh, but she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find
Titus,
even
Well,
a duck.
Я
how the
пробую
fuck
то же
did the
самое
rest of
выбирать.
you get by? Like what? I already told you I didn't do
A strong moral compass. She's
plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, you think I was envious of his... Yeah,
she didn't hate him.
I'm listening. Man, I was with the boys the whole night. You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time. Wow. Now I'm curious. No. Why? Yeah, and probably some ghosts from the time of the suzerain. I'm not really interested in supernatural mysteries. The fuck do elevators have to do? Not particularly. I'm not really into old shit.
God damn it!
Don't know it.
Evaluating your competence as a
The shot
She had.
that didn't go super well.
and the trigger happy jacks. What did you think? That I'm going to shirt
The bridge?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
I knocked
That isn't it.
No, they're not practical. Break yeah. Evidence. I considered her a good friend, yeah.
Her hand slipped from
Wow. Piss if I want to stare at a pretty girl, I can pick one up at a bar. Or, worst case scenario, nope. For the same reason that she's everyone's type as an object. Oh. So that's a very
the lieutenant watches her, expectant.
Okay, fine. She reject I knew that wasn't the
No ill will there. It wasn't a problem for her.
Yeah, I was a little worried to blow it out of proportion. Yeah, the girl seemed go ahead.
And mine too, he thinks. But keep on. This must be done.
So,
That really comes as a blow to her.
yeah, that
She's more upset than she...
man.
She deliberately...
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had based on what I've heard about.
There's a sinister note in her voice.
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean closet. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah? Where?
More questions before doing anything.
Так, больше не могу.
How should I?
Those... What is...
Who hasn't? He was still warm.
She's refused...
It's okay.
All right. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her. She asked me to come upstairs.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What?
She looks shaken.
Yeah.
You can see it.
She...
Clarcia knew exactly what she was doing. You can't remain calm under pressure otherwise.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire as I keep
The
war. Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me.
Я могу прям тут сохраниться. Так.
The violent white noise becomes even more overwhelming closer to the compressor. Feels like your brain is swelling up in your skull.
There, there. I told you it's best not to move. Look, I know this isn't very fun for you, so let's wrap this up. You have...
She knows about the tribunal.
Tribunal is an awfully fancy word for what they're going to do. But yeah, I was listening to their frequency. Now they're gonna put on a show before meting out punishment. Even though those assholes gave me up, and you, watch out for yourselves. You seem to have a habit of walking into traps. I'm guessing you don't know that a third mercenary has come to town just in time for the tribunal.
3 mercenaries, no doubt armed to the teeth, hungry for vengeance. You've only got muzzle loaders. This isn't
The third. Ah,
As I said, watch.
The pain is becoming unbearable now.
Glad to have been of assistance. Best of luck to you, officers. Revishov.
The woman runs past you and disappears into the darkness
Так.
of the tunnel.
Ебать, мы выжили.
all things
Пиздец.
considered, it could have gone worse. No, I don't think she did it. She's someone else's kid.
It's too late now, anyway. She's gone.
Now we have to come up with a really good excuse for why we walked right into a trap like that. This isn't going to look good in the report. Her tent. Maybe there's something.
The plain red tent stands by dispassionate. It was pitched by practiced hands. She's used to camping out. The tent looks old, but well maintained. In the darkness of the tent, a rolled-up sleeping bag, cooking utensils, some books, and a kerosene. It reeks of cigarettes. Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines.
See anything?
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. You pocket the worn brown leather journal. A trusted friend left behind.
We should read this immediately. Like, right.
A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket. It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name. This was important to her when it was still hers. The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled. The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs have been crossed out, with tiny corrections scrawled above and in the margins. It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections.
It's good she left in a hurry. We could learn a lot from this.
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar short wry observations of people and places, probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult staff issues. Always tough on the leadership. You smell traces of betrayal. The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. But that's enough. You have no idea what she means. These are personal notes. Don't expect to understand all of it. The most recent entry is from today. Even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man,
It looks like she might have been framed.
that would be a first, or a fourth. But who's counting, he thinks. Very rarely does anyone actually get framed.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. We have other reasons to arrest her. Besides, I'm not sure her life as a fugitive is going to be much better than Ouida's. Clasia was the one who pointed the finger at Ruby. Perhaps she was trying to steer us away from herself, or... Either way, we need to keep an eye on her. One thing is for certain. We have business back in whirling in rags. Questions to ask. Let's be careful, though. The tip she gave us about the tribunal was disturbing.